When I had depression, it was a very lonely stage in my life. I started to not recognize myself. I started being alone every day, not going to work, not paying bills. I didn't answer calls. I didn't talk to family or friends. It's a hurtful feeling to where it grabs you in the chest, and it just continues to grab you because you have no relief. It's a suffocation.
I grew up in Edgewood, on the east end of Pittsburgh. It was a good Christian home. I grew up going to Sunday school and Vacation Bible School. When I was in high school, I started to drink and smoke weed on the weekends. And I realized that sometimes I didn't have control over it. And I started going to 12-step meetings in 1981.
The minute I walked from Hazelwood to Northside, it was that exact time I came to the Northside when I had nowhere to go. I was like, I'm homeless. And the only reason I'm homeless is because I walked away from everything that I had because I just couldn't take it anymore.
In the summer of 1999, I was living a good life in Hawaii. I was married, happily married, and I was diagnosed with colon cancer out of the blue. I had a tumor the size of a golf ball in my descending colon. I've had cancer in my colon, my lungs, breasts, and I've had 5 different surgeries, and I've been prescribed a lot of opiates.
The path to homelessness is different for different people. And we know that since COVID has happened, that there's been an increase in those who are dealing with depression, those who are dealing with mental health issues. And then you have those that enter into homelessness because of addiction, with the opioid crisis, which continues to set records of deaths in our county. Many people are being impacted by that crisis. And a lot of them, they entered into that addiction by getting a prescription from a doctor. They find themselves in this situation, and next thing you know, they're addicted to an opioid, and then they try to find other ways of feeding that addiction when they can't get the prescription any longer.
I started wanting more and started taking more than what was prescribed. I was still going to 12-step meetings, and I met somebody at one of my meetings who was a heroin addict, and we kind of hit it off, and I ended up doing a drug that I said I'd never do.
I got to a point in my life where I wanted to jump off a bridge at a point in my life during my homelessness. I didn't want to deal with it no more. I didn't. It sucked. Life sucked. Like, I couldn't do anything. I couldn't work. I didn't have anything. I was just to the point where I'm just at this bridge, and I'm just like, just take one step at a time and you could be there.
We started getting arrested, possession. I started overdosing. I had family members not talking to me. It got to the point where death was a comfortable thought to me, because I did not want to keep living this way, but I was stuck.
So one of the things that Light of Life does is that, first of all, we want to hear someone's story. We want to talk to them. We want them to know that they have a safe place that cares about them. And then we want to come alongside them and refer them to places that can help them. For many of them, part of that depression has left them feeling isolated and feeling like they don't have any options. And what we want them to know is that there's a whole community that is waiting to help them and come alongside them.
I ended up getting arrested a few times. I ended up going to jail, which I was horrified. And then I realized that I needed to change my life desperately.
Light of Life, the moment I walked through that door. It was quite an adventure. I walked in that door, didn't know, have directions. I didn't have a sense of security. I didn't have any hope. I didn't have anything but the clothes on my back. And I gave them my name, and they said, "We know who you are. We were just waiting for you." And when I went to the Light of Life, they told me how to get back into working. But before work, it was more of dealing with this. This was like the first 6 months right here. It was the first 6 months of dealing with who Nate was and how can we help him. And when I got in, it helped me get closer to God.
One of the exciting things I love about Light of Life is seeing the change that a person has once they come into our doors. One of the things that our alumni like to do is to look at their picture when they were first came into our doors, and you can see in their eyes the darkness in their eyes, the weight of the world on their shoulders. And then just after a few months of being in the program, you see the light come back. You see their sparkle back in their eye. There's hope there again. And what you're seeing is the difference between hopelessness and hope. When a person has hope, life lights up again. And that's what Light of Life is here for, is to help people have hope again, to realize that they can love again, that life is not over, that their history is not their destiny, that the things that they've experienced in the past does not have to be their future, and there can be a new beginning if they would just dare to take that step and start again.